Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Matt Johnson. We are back with another episode of Real Estate Uncensored. As you can see, I have Greg McDaniel, who's not on my co-pilot. He is in person with me here doing very weird things. I don't know what his deal is. Like hiding behind Travis's screenshot over there. So we have Travis Robertson live with us. Unfortunately, Travis couldn't be here with us in person. Otherwise, we'd all be crammed into this hotel room together.
Which would be a hot mess. Be a different type of show altogether.
Yeah, exactly. It's this hotel room is cool enough for Greg to exist on our plane of life. And
you survive. Greg's about to die.
I am. If I make it through this, I will actually be 5 pounds lighter.
It's a sweltering 75 degrees inside this hotel room.
Thank you.
We're inside, Greg. We're in the
That's a wall unit. I mean, that's a baby air conditioner. I'm a big human.
I don't know what Greg.
Welcome to our new podcast, Two Dudes in a Hotel Room.
And one of them sweating off.
We will be delivering immense value on this podcast today. We're going to talk about the secrets of $1 million producers. We're going to talk about guys that are doing DCI levels of 6 and 7 figures and how they build their businesses, how they generate leads, some of the things that separates them from everyone else. Especially the people that are trying to get to that level, things that might hold you back, stop you, or prevent you from getting to producing at that $1 million level. And so obviously Travis has got a lot of experience coaching those guys. You've got Greg, who is also an experienced, I don't know what he's experienced is sweating. He's very, very good at that.
Veteran sweater.
He's a veteran sweater.
I actually got the bronze in '86. It was so close.
I can picture you in like a Prefontaine, like the headband.
Oh.
Anyway, so first of all, let's officially welcome Travis Robertson to the show. Travis, how's it going?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you guys doing?
Awesome. Sweating.
Yeah,
I am so ready for today. I just got to tell you, we're gonna have a blast today.
Like last time we knocked it out of the park together. I mean, shit, we're gonna do it again today. We're gonna move Travis away from my face down the bottom, so I don't. Yeah, we'll work on it. So I don't. There we go.
Hey, now I can see Greg. This is perfect.
Handsome. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, pretty? Yeah.
Yeah, see, Travis, if you hadn't said anything, I could have covered up Greg's face the whole show with yours. It would have been great.
Greg looks different. I'm not sure why.
Small head.
We should have had 3 dudes in a hotel room. That would have been a great podcast. Uh-oh. Man down. You guys there? Hello? Where am I? Uh-oh.
You hear us?
Dark side of the moon.
Hey.
Hey, we're back.
Hey, there you are. I did. I was like, well, welcome to my show.
Oh my gosh! All right, well let's start off. Let's before anything else goes wrong today. Let's yeah. Well, I'll take care of that. So Travis, let's kick things off with so what I want to know from you first is when somebody comes into you, let's say they're already making they're not quite making 6 figures yet, but they're getting there. They're on their way. When you first start working with a client, like what are the things, what's that initial analysis? What are some of those things that you're looking for right off the bat that tells you, okay, this needs to be adjusted before we really go any further?
Are you talking you said not making 6 figures. Do you mean not making 7 figures?
No, we're talking about like getting from, like, let's say they're in the ballpark where they're about to, like they're about to make 6 figures, or maybe they're around in that area and they want to get to where they're doing $1 million in GCI a year with their team. Yep. Right. But yeah, what are the first things that you look for in terms of that analysis? What are some of the things that you look to either cut out, start or stop doing right off the bat?
Yeah. Well, from the first 6 figures, and we talked about this in the last show, but the first 6 figures, it's purely mental, and it's, do they have the mental game in place to actually be able to make 6 figures? Because a lot of people, when they come to us and they say, well, I want to make 6 figures in real estate, we're like, well, that's great, but have you ever made 6 figures before? And most of them, they go, well, no, I've never made 6 figures before. So there's a big mindset shift that has to take place between, under 6 figures and then to 6 figures. And so we're looking at things like, do you have a business plan in place? Do you know where your business comes from? Do you know where your leads come from? Do you know how many deals you actually need to do to make 6 figures? And do you know your numbers so that when you show up every day, you know what to do, when to do it, how to do it, and who you're contacting so that you can actually go about making 6 figures. So that first 6 figures, though, you can make 6 figures sitting open houses every weekend for a year. If you did that, you'd make well into the 6 figures. So the actual strategies we're less concerned with from 0 to 6, it's just getting your actions in place to be able to produce 6 figures. So do you have a system in place? Do you show up every day at the office at the same time? Do you actually know who you're supposed to be calling when you're supposed to be calling it? So that's a whole kind of, it's not like we're looking for anything magical or wonderful. We're just looking for the basics at that 6-figure level.
Okay, gotcha. So then let's step it up to, let's say someone's already making that 6-figure level. Maybe they have a smaller team around them. They have an assistant. They have some support staff. Let's say they even have a buyer's agent. So they have someone to farm out their buyer leads to. What are some of the things that you look for that person?
Okay, so that person, what we're looking for is specifically the actual systems. Can they track and measure the results that their team members are getting? Did I lose you guys again? You guys there? I'm still live. Maybe, I don't know if I'm still live. So I'm going to keep talking as if I'm still live. So, so if we're dealing with somebody who is making that mid 6 figures and wants to get up above, what we're looking for is, do they have systems in place? Can they track what agents are doing on their team? Do they know what's supposed to happen, when it's supposed to happen? Do they have a business plan, a marketing plan? And do they know where their leads are coming from? Do they know where their business is coming from? Most people don't. And so most of the time, they're just kind of throwing things against the wall and hoping something sticks, rather than being much more intentional about what their business is supposed to be looking like. So our first analysis of everything is we have a big, I don't know, it's 120 something questionnaire where what we're doing is we're trying to evaluate every element of their business to see where the weaknesses are, where the strengths are. Most of the time, it's fly by night. They're showing up and it's like they've got so many things going on that it's like, okay, let's follow up with this lead today. Who's screaming the loudest? We've got to do this. And so there's no real intentionality behind it. And to move from that mid 6 figures to that 7-figure level income, they have to become much more process driven, much more systems driven, and much more intentional about what it is that they're trying to do.
Okay. All right. So can you hear us again?
Yeah. When you go out, am I still live?
Yeah. I think so. So you were perfect. You just kept running trucking. I love it.
I'm just going to keep rolling. So I didn't know if I was still live if I dropped out or if you dropped out. So
we dropped out on our end. I don't know if it's just a connection issue or what the deal is, but if it happens, it looks like it just keeps going with you.
Perfect.
So let's get into the systems a little bit. So the lead tracking system first. So what, let's back up and just get super practical about it. I mean, what kind of systems have you helped people use and can set, maybe start with the, I don't want to go super conceptual. Let's go super tactical. So first of all, when you're looking, let's say someone's been running their team off of a top producer, something very, not, I want to say simple, but it's not super pricey. It's not Infusionsoft.
Right.
So does something like that have the capability to keep up with somebody as they move into the 300, 400, 500 transactions a year range?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you survey, if you look at the top producing teams out there, a lot of them are running on a top producer type of system, and it can do it. You have to really work the system in order to be able to make it work. But a top producer or a platform like that is really designed to scale up can work. There are a lot of great CRM platforms that are good for individual agents, but a top producer is a great system. A lot of the teams that we coach are on top producer. And so I think that's a good platform for teams. It's not perfect, but it's a great platform, and it's one that you can absolutely build on top of. And so what we're looking at doing is when somebody comes to us and they have a platform like a top producer, what we first want to do is we want to make sure that all of the leads are flowing into that CRM on a consistent basis. And so is it automatically getting in there, or are they having to do a lot of manual data entry? Because if they're manually entering it, creates a lot of time problems, a lot of consistency and error problems. So we want to make sure as much as possible that that data gets in there automatically. And that's one of the benefits of Top Producer. Everything integrates with it. So usually we can take leads from anywhere, get them into Top Producer. Then what we want to do is we want to make sure that, number one, they're being assigned correctly. Who are they going to? When are they going to the different agents? And one of the things we make sure of, and this is huge, especially for team leaders that want to scale, too many times team leaders cherry pick the best leads for themselves and then hand the crap to their agents. And then they wonder why they're still doing all of the work rather than being able to move it over to the agents. So they've got to start assigning things correctly to the agents so that they can scale on top of what they're trying to do.
All right. So in other words, you find a couple of things. You find, number one, too much manual work, which is fine because as you're scaling up your business, you're going to have a lot of inefficiencies like that. Yeah. But then the deeper issue is the selfishness on the part of the team leader of cherry picking the best leads and giving the crap to the other agents. So that's a shift that has to be overcome. So let's talk about the first element of that, which is the systems and stuff. There is like when you're talking about integrating stuff, I mean, that obviously that's the ideal. There is other ways around in the sense of doing some paperwork and then like streamlining that part of it. Greg Harrelson's team is a good example where they have like a lead sheet. So when an agent's on the call, they can just quickly circle exactly what need, like the tags and Infusionsoft that need to be assigned to that lead. They give it to somebody, that person does the data entry, and it speeds up. There is a little bit of manual process with that, but it speeds up as much as possible that manual process. So there's things that you can do within that. So how much experience, do you see workarounds like that where you're kind of having to integrate a little bit of the manual work and streamlining that in?
Yeah, it really depends on how the team is structured and how they're set up. So if your team is a great example of this, so you've got it so that if somebody's dealing with a lead on the phone or whatever it is, they're writing down the information, correct? And so then that's handed off to an admin and that's input into your system. Is that how you're handling it?
Yeah, that's how we do it a little bit. I mean, for us, in regards to everything that we're doing, I mean, we basically, I'll catch it and kill it, and I'll throw it back to my team. Then the process from that point is all up to them. So, it's the best way that our team can operate because God knows I sneeze at systems. So I've been sitting over here going, what the hell are we talking about? This is a new word. It should be a cuss word, but it's more than 4 letters.
And there are teams that work really well off of Excel, off of spreadsheets. And so if they're able to do that, God bless them. More often than not, though, as a team begins to scale up, they've got to have something in place like a customer relationship management tool or a CRM platform for those that aren't initiated into the actual geek speak. So a CRM platform is really what they're going to need. And my preference is to see that auto drop in and then be assigned out, manually potentially signed out. And then if somebody wants, look, my sales team does it as well, is a lot of times they'll create a spreadsheet that they'll make all of their quick notes in throughout the day. And then that gets added back in at the end of the day. Or, at certain break points, they'll go back in and they'll update that in the CRM platform so they don't have to make all those clicks. They can just dial down a bunch of names and then update things later on. So you can batch that type of work, but you've still got to have systems in place. You've still got to make sure that how we're doing it and that it is getting input and that the sales team still knows how to use that CRM platform. Because a lot of times the buyer's agents will do everything in their power to never log into that crap. And then they'll be complaining about the fact that they don't know what's going on.
Yeah, exactly.
You're speaking my language.
Yeah.
And my team manager, Eileen, she's always picking on me. She's like, Greg, because we're starting to use a new CRM, which is incredibly intuitive and it integrates with Mojo and a lot of other fun things. But I mean, she's like, when I told her that we were changing, and she's like, so you mean that I'm going to be learning the system and inputting all the data? I'm like, yeah, pretty much. So get on the training calls. That's awesome. Appreciate it. But no, it really is. It is truly important to have people go into the CRM, understand what's going on, watch the details, read the notes, be up to date with the clients, because then they're top of mind for you, so that if something comes up or anything else, you can have your knowledge there. But most of the people like myself, and I am I'll admit this 100%. Sometimes I just suck balls at it, and I just don't do it. And I know that I should do it more, but I don't because I hate the process, which, I am going to determine to learn this year to change.
Well, and this is the thing about a CRM platform is it's not about saying to the team leader, hey, you've got to become a master at the CRM platform. It's saying that your business has to operate using systems. How that happens can be your administrative team holds you accountable and really make sure that things are working efficiently, that your agents are putting in their follow-ups into there, and that you're managing the day based off of the information in that CRM platform. Otherwise, you've got it all over the place, sticky notes and calendar reminders in some calendar system, but that's not popping over to the phone. So there's got to just be a central place where that information is stored so that it can be acted on. And then as a team leader, you can track whether your agents are actually doing what they say they're going to be doing or say they are doing. And that's one of the things that you can start to find out which agents are actually productive, that are actually doing the work. So you can start to see the red flags before the red flags. Because if you see that your agents aren't making calls, you can figure out months in advance of them having dropped sales that there's going to be an issue. And most people can't track that if they're not using something like a CRM tool or at least an Excel spreadsheet to track the daily activities of the agents. So that stuff is used as really an early indicator or warning sign of a coming problem.
Yeah, that makes total sense. So talking about like the difference between leading indicators and lagging indicators, which is what you're talking about. What are some of the things that you would like to see or that you help people kind of implement? Like, what are some of those key metrics that you help people track so that they know when those issues are coming before they pop up?
Yeah. So number one is we actually work it backwards. So what we do is we figure out what is their actual income goal, and then we walk that back to the activities that they're going to choose. So we first say, okay, what is it that you want to make from a gross commission income standpoint at the team level? If we're looking at a team leader. And then we say, okay, how much of that do you want to be responsible for? And then how much is agent A, agent B, agent C going to be responsible for of that gross commission income? And then from there, we can figure out the conversion metrics for those given agents. So if we know that the team leader, let's say hypothetically, they want to be responsible for $250,000 of that. And we know that their average gross commission income per transaction, let's just say for round figures, because I suck at doing math in my head, is $10,000. So that means that that team leader is going to be responsible for 25 sides over the course of is that right? Yeah. 25 times 10. Yeah. 25. See, I told you, even round figures, I'm like, crap. But so that team leader is going to be responsible for 25 sides. So then what we want to figure out is we go, okay, so what percentage of that is going to come from listings versus buyers? Now, if it's a team leader and they're really not going to be working with buyers, we might go, okay, it's 80-20 listed. Of course, I'm not going to do that math in my head, but we then we back it out. And we go, okay, if let's say 20 of the deals that you're going to do are going to be from listings, how many listings do you have to take in order to get 20 sales? There's a difference between, you don't need 20 listings, you might need 25 listings to actually sell 20 over the course of a 12-month period of time. Then how many listing appointments do you need to go on to get 25 actual listings taken? So we're just backing everything up all along the way. Then we use their actual lead sources and we say, okay, if you need 25 listings and you need to go on, let's say 35 listing appointments, what are all the different ways that you're using right now to generate listings? And what are the ones that we need to spend more time, more money on and get more deals coming from? Or which ones do we want to add? And how do we then track the leads coming in against how many of those are going to convert in actual appointments? So we're tracking everything along hang on, there it is.
Hey, and it stays in my ear.
Yeah, it's the Italian in me. I can't talk without my hands, so I get a little. So there we go. So we're tracking everything from we back it all up so that they can show up every day and know that this is what we need to do to get all the way through to the end, and they can do it by agent, and that's the key thing because your different agents are going to convert at different levels. So if you can track agent A's conversion versus agent B's conversion, then you're able to figure out how many leads you need for each individual agent on the team for them to be able to hit their goals and where the actual problems are that you need to improve their conversion metrics.
So you're using this on top producers. Is that what you're saying? Is that the system you're talking about?
We do it based. It depends. We have an Excel spreadsheet that people can plug this information into, but it depends on. We're technology agnostic. So we have clients that are on Top Producer. We have clients that are on Lion Desk. We have clients that are on RealVolve. We have clients that are on Follow Up Boss. At the end of the day, we don't care what you use. We just care that you use something, and it will help you figure out how to track and manage the metrics based off of the system that you're using.
Yeah, I'm starting to use FirePoint right now as our CRM, and they're very, very good at that. I mean, not only do you track where your lead came from, but what was the reason for it to coming to close? Was it your follow-up? Was it your parties? Was it, whatever it was? So you know where to double down and where to eliminate from, because as anything else, this is the business. So if you can eliminate something out of your business that's costing you money, because we all have the shiny object syndrome. I mean, Matt and I are at CAR right now. There's going to be a lot of new shiny objects that people are going to be introducing. All the agents are going to get mental hard-ons going, oh my God, this is so amazing. This is going to take my game to a next level. But, at the end of the day, it's you have got to. Hey, look! I'm squeezed between our logo and Travis. This is working out so well. Matt's gonna move your face, put it over mine right now, and he is. Oh, I thought he actually was.
Come on, trying to help you out.
But no, my dad, when we were door knocking, he came up with this incredibly awesome spreadsheet, which is so freaking complicated. It's unbelievable. But I can track down to the minute of what my value is, down to what the cost and value of every single person I even talk to, every door, everything. If I change 1 hour or 1 day of prospecting, you can see your income dramatically spike based upon your past behavior. So if you're able, like you're doing with your people, give every single one of these people something like that, then all of a sudden there's them sitting there doing calls or doors or whatever they're going to be doing. Right. It's not mundane. This is a cash producing activity. Yeah, and they're going to be more inclined to do it.
Well, to your point, Greg, we actually show them the dollar value per appointment that they go on. Yeah. So even if they don't get the sale, even if they don't get the listing, there's still a dollar value per appointment. So it's like, look, go on the appointment, because every appointment's worth $3,500 to you, or $4,000 or $2,500, whatever it is, whether you get a yes or a no, because you have to do so many to hit your actual goal. And so if you know that makes it a lot easier to pick up the phone, make the calls, do the activities that are going to get you in front of people, because it's a numbers game at that point.
Oh, 100%. It's a numbers game. I actually was just showing another one of our team members. I'll put that right there. That same thing, because she's Midori. She's a new agent of ours, and she was not getting it in the beginning. But then I started showing her the more people you reach out and touch and talk to, the more deals and leads and everything else you're going to get. And she thought I was crazy, but then all of a sudden she started seeing things come through, and she's like, "Oh my God, this totally makes sense. I'm gonna go start doing this." Yeah, and they have to find that on their own. They cannot be force-fed this, because once they see it, they have the I can make this if I do that. Like, yeah, fool, that's what I've been telling you.
Well, and what's interesting, Greg, and I want to come back to something you said, which is the shiny object syndrome. You're at CAR right now. So you're, like you said, you're going to see all of these shiny objects. You're going to see all of these things popping up. And the difference between a low producing agent and a top producing agent is top producing agents are less and less inclined to be distracted by the shiny objects, because what they start to realize is that their business is too complex to shift on a dime like that for every shiny object that comes through. The smaller your business and the smaller your production, the easier it's to be like squirrel, like, oh my gosh, all the amazing things that are around here. And well, let me try this CRM today. And then next month I'll try this CRM. And then, next week I'll try this lead generation source. You can do that when you're small. But if you want to get to that 7-figure level, you have to stop doing that, because it's impossible you can't shiny object your way to success. It's just impossible. You've got to be much more deliberate, much more system driven. And truly, you go back to basics. It's not the shiny objects that are going to make you 7 figures. They might support you in that process, but it has far less to do with the shiny things that are out there, the newest, latest, greatest thing, and more to do with just picking up the freaking phone and making a call on that lead that came in. And not just making one call, but calling them 8 times, 10 times, 12 times before you give up. Sorry, I almost knocked my earpiece out again.
So excited. Just earpieces playing when you're around.
That's right. Yes, this is an action podcast. There's a couple of things I wanted to share from Jeff Cohn. So if anybody listens to my other podcast, the Team Building Podcast with Jeff, you might have heard things before, but if you've not, you would know this. But I love Jeff's approach to the way that he allocates his lead gen budget. So 70% goes to the things that are proven to work, which in his market is Google pay-per-click ads for buyer leads. But whatever that is for you, whatever is your essentially your bread and butter, always make that about 70% of your marketing budget, and then the other 30% can go towards the experimentation. So if you see that shiny object and you think, okay, this has a legitimate shot of being the next big thing, whatever that might be for you, then great, go experiment with it. But just allocate a certain part of your budget that you're okay with losing on that shiny object. Really, 'cause, I mean, you want that budget that you have to the bulk of it to going to what you know works, and then devote a little bit over to experimentation. Because if you're in the position of a team leader, part of your value that you're bringing, especially if you're in the expansion business and you have expansion offices around the country, part of your responsibility and your duty as an expansion leader is to be putting out the intellectual effort and and risking your capital to figure out on their behalf what works. Amen. Otherwise, you're abdicating your responsibility as a team leader. That's part of what your value proposition should be, is to look, I'll take on the burden of figuring out what works, then we'll pass it on to you. You execute it. It will therefore work, and we'll split the profits. Yeah. So I wanted to point out, I think Jeff really has a good handle on kind of how to organize that and how to think about how to allocate your lead gen budget. So is there anything similar to that you've seen with some of your clients that are doing it at a high level?
Yeah, and actually I was going to kind of dovetail with that, is that when let's say it's 30% that you're going to allocate to these kind of experimental lead sources. What top producers do is they tend to focus on one at a time. It's not like they're going to go, oh my gosh, there's 5 things I found here at CAR. Let me take this 30% and split it 6% here, 6% here, 6%. They don't do that. They focus in and say, okay, I've got 30% to work with. I'm going to take all 30% maybe and drop it into one lead source. And if I see it working, I may then take, allocate a little bit more to it, or move some of that into that 70% and then take what's remaining and try something else. So they focus generally on one thing at a time. Otherwise, you can't create strategies for all of these things at the same time and train your agents how to work those leads, because generally a lot of different lead sources have different nuanced ways that you have to script for them, that you have to handle them, that you have to handle the questions and the things that are going to come up based off of where that lead's coming in. Or coming in from. So focus that 30% or whatever you're going to allocate to one thing, work it for 6 months to 12 months minimum before you go, oh crap, it doesn't work, let me try something else. So apparently I lost him again. So the other thing too, actually, that I can say as it pertains to this is that if you're going to take 30% and allocate it to something, what I would encourage you to do is go all in very quickly, and don't do like $200 here, $300 there, and hold it back. I go all in, get as many leads from there as you possibly can, so you can play the numbers game and you can play the volume, and you can start to measure whether it's actually succeeding. But it's the agents who go, well, I dropped $250 a month on Zillow for 6 months and it didn't work. And it's like, because you dropped $250 a month on Zillow, like up that before you tell me it doesn't work, because the agents who are succeeding on it are dropping thousands of dollars on Zillow. And that's why they're able to get it to work.
And I was just going to say the exact same thing, Travis, is that a lot of people, like the shiny object syndrome, an old coach got by a guy named Howard Britton, who's passed away a number of years ago. He had this great sheet every day at his conferences. You would write down all your great ideas, and then you'd write down your top 5 ideas from that day. Yeah. And then you would break it down to your top, and then you'd go down, ultimately it'll be your top 3 for the whole conference, and then implementation schedule. And that's what people need to do. And like you nailed it on the head. So many folks get so excited about whatever it is, and then it doesn't fucking work. And they're like, well, I gave it a run. It's like, no, bitch, no, you didn't. All you did is you it's like shooting a BB gun at a fucking freight train. It was just like it was a fruitless attempt of making it rain for you financially, because you like, oh well, if these guys are spending $10,000 a month in Zillow, I'll dial back because I'm a math genius. If I do $250, then I can get this percentage. It's like, no, bro, homeboy, that's not how it's played. I mean, I have an agent that's in a team in our area They're throwing $10,000 at Zillow a month,
Mm-hmm.
but they're closing 12 to 14 deals a month.
Yeah.
You know, and that's where it really works. I mean, it's the long-term play for online leads. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we have clients that spend $20,000-$30,000 a month on Zillow, and what they're doing is but they know their numbers on that. They're tracking it like crazy, and they can see the ROI. And it's almost like printing money. If you know that every dollar you invest is going to net you $3 or $4 down the road, invest more dollars, because it's for every dollar you put out there, you're going to get 3 or 4 back. It's like printing money. I don't understand why. Well, I don't know if I can invest more. It's like allocate a little bit more, drop it over there, and print more money. Because if you understand the ROI, you can see where my money printing press is and where my money losing press is. And so you avoid the money losing press and you throw more at the money printing press, and it just starts to make sense.
But that's logic, Travis. I mean, don't talk to me about logic. This is real estate agent. Come on.
I know.
No, but it's legit.
Feel like it.
Well, they're so close. No, if they just cut out their freaking latte budget and they start allocating it back. And I did a coaching call with a guy. He was trying to break, and he had to get like was it 150 or 275 bucks or something like that a month to get his own private office so he can go do his calls.
Yeah.
He and his wife sat down together. Just by eliminating eating out every single day, they found $1,500 in their budget.
Yeah.
A month.
Yeah.
And so all of you fools out there, what can you cut out that's like a little luxury to yourself? But if you can get rid of it for 6 months and you can put it, like Travis was saying, into your money printing machine, and you can start seeing it work and then doubling down, wouldn't that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, look, I know broke agents that drive a BMW.
Well, man, you got to keep up with a new M6. I mean, shit.
Well, I mean, geez, you got to look good when you're showing up to the food stamp line, I guess. But but my car is going to make the no, it's not. I know agents that make a lot more money than you and drive a lot worse car than you. And at the end of the day, if you're savvy and you've got the systems and you've got the tools and you've got the experience and you can show the proof, people don't give a rat's butt what you drive unless you're in that high-end luxury. Then they care. But for the average person, in fact, sometimes too nice of a car can make them wonder if your commission check's a little too high.
Oh my, that is so true. There's a guy in the Pacific Northwest. He was rolling a brand new S600. Rolls up to like an average price up there is like $700,000 to $900,000. Rolls up to like a $400,000 house. The owner of the house walks out of the home, goes, "Hey, don't even come any closer. It already appears that you don't need my money. I'd rather work with someone else."
Yeah.
He went down to the Chevy dealership that day, bought himself a Yukon, and he's never looked back. He drives a car that's appropriate to the client.
Yeah. Yeah. So look, if I were to look at anybody's budget who says, I don't have the money, I'll find the money. You just won't like the result. It's that you don't want to give up some level of creature comfort to have what you say that what you think you want. Most people want success, but they don't want to do what it takes to actually have it or experiencing it, because it means stepping outside of your comfort zone. Because if you could make $1 million inside of your comfort zone, guess what? You'd already be making $1 million. But $1 million is on the outside of your comfort zone, or 6 figures or $500,000, whatever it is, whatever amount you say you want to make, it's going to be found on the other side of your comfort zone. So you have to get used to getting uncomfortable if you want to get to that next level. Otherwise, you'd already have what you say you want.
Yeah, but everyone just talks about what they want because it's a lot easier, like a Monday morning quarterback, like, oh man, that guy should have thrown it long. Fuck you. You didn't do the runs. You didn't do the laps. You didn't do the squats. You didn't do the training. You didn't play in high school. You didn't play in college. You sat in a fat ass and drank beer, ate nachos, and bitched at me because I didn't throw it where you thought I should throw it on Monday morning. Yeah. I want to have a 350 linebacker coming at you at 200 miles an hour and see if you're going to make the same decision. I mean, but people aren't willing to make the hard decisions, like you said.
Well, and and we get credit for our desires. So if I go to my friends and be like, dude, I want to make $10 million or whatever the number is, they're going to be like, oh, that's awesome. Good for you. That's great that you're going for your dreams. And I can walk away going, oh man, I feel so much better about myself because my friend said it's awesome that I'm going for my dream. Now I don't actually have to go do it to get the kudos, but I can just say that this is what I want, and I can tell myself that this is what I want, and I can say that this, and I can feel good in the moment But then I go home at night, and if I'm actually not doing the things that it's going to take, I'll just get more and more depressed. And we see it all the time. Agents coming to us saying, I feel like I should have been further along by now. And I go, why do you feel that way? Well, because I know agents that aren't nearly as good as I am, but they're making more money than me. And I'm like, the only difference, because look, how many of you can, and I do this in live events, how many of you believe you're a great agent? And hands fly up. And sometimes people don't raise their hand. I'm like, well, there's your problem. But how many of you believe you're a great agent? And hands fly up. And I'm like, and how many of you who believe you're great agents know an agent in your marketplace that makes more money than you? Raise your hand. And they're not nearly as good of an agent as you are. And hands fly up. I said, so what's the difference between them and you? Because it's obviously not that they're a better agent. It's that they work harder. They're willing to do what you're not willing to do. They've gotten out of their comfort zone. They've not listened to that voice inside of their head, that shitty committee, if you will, that says, you can't do this, you can't do this, you can't do this. And so we all have that committee in our head. And are you going to listen to that? Or are you going to actually get off of your butt, get out of your comfort zone, and go execute on what you know you should be doing?
Yeah, but you see, the thing is here, that shitty committee you're talking about, fuck them very much. Fire every one of those assholes immediately. You know why? Because you know what? They're not looking out for your best interest. What that is, that's all of your friends, your family, all the people around you, the people that want to keep you down where you are. Because if they keep you where you are now, then they don't feel worse about themselves. Yeah. And you know what? I can guarantee you can do whatever you want, whenever you want, however you want to do it. Tony Robbins went from making $35,000 a year to $1 million a year in 12 months because his why was stronger and he didn't listen to the shitty committee. Yeah. So when people sit there and they bitch, moan, whine, and complain because they don't have this, don't have that, well, homeboy, that's because of you. You're the ultimate reason. You're the sum of all decisions in your entire life. So if you want to be, driving the Bentley, Maserati, Mercedes, having the private plane, whatever it is, then get up and start working harder. I talked to someone the other day. I'm like, how much are you working in real estate? I'm like, anywhere from like 5 to 8 hours a day. I'm like, congratulations. Tomorrow you're starting at 10. Next week you're starting at 12. Yeah. And they're like, what? I'm like, yeah, dude, that's how it rolls. You got to put in the long hours. When the office is dark, when you get there, and if the office is dark, when you leave, then you're hustling. Yeah. Then you're hustling. Yeah.
Well, there's a whole component to this, which is when you say that it's getting out of your comfort zone, there's a lot of people that hustle in real estate, but making a few more prospecting calls is not going to get you to $1 million level. Right. No. And that's like what you're talking about, Travis, is it's a different way of thinking. Yeah. Not just a different level of work ethic, although that may be part of it for some people. Mm-hmm. There may be some that are only working 8 hours a day when they really need to work 10. But what are you spending that extra 2 hours on? Yeah. Are you making a few extra follow-up calls? Or are you building systems in your business that's going to explode your growth exponentially? Or are you making a few more calls that are going to grow your business incrementally? Like that's that. So there's a difference between, like, you can only throw so much hustle at it, and then that hustle has to take a different form. And that hustle might take the form of harder mental thought of developing systems and training your staff and recruiting people, which is the next thing that I want to get into. Because once you, like Travis, once you figure out what the money printing press is in your business, then it becomes a different question. Like you leave the question of, okay, what is my lead gen system? Let's say you figured that out. Now it's, I need people. Like throw as many people as I can get. It's like, if I can just get the right people, it's like printing money. Just give me the right people, right? Yeah. Created a whole new problem for yourself. How do I get the right people? Well, what's your system for getting the right people? So let's get into that a little bit. So how do you work with agents and clients? What do you recommend people? Where do they start in terms of how to create the right system for attracting the right people to plug into that lead generation system?
So most people, I always call it the Walking Dead strategy. So most people go, hey, throw bodies at the problem, like it's the Walking Dead, and the more bodies you throw at the problem.
This was like a shotgun and a katana sword approach or something.
Yeah, it's like here, I've got zombies are coming, throw bodies at that works in the Walking Dead. It doesn't work in real estate. It doesn't work in business in general. Is that in order to attract the right people, and kind of to your point, Matt, is that there are a lot of people who work a lot of hours who don't make anywhere near 7 figures. And it's because those hours that they're spending at night are spent on all of the things they feel like need to be done. So, I got to answer all my emails. I've got to get all these things done at night, and I just don't have time. And it's like, oh, believe me, I could find the time in your schedule by shifting what it is that you're focusing on. And so it's that working on versus working in. And so when you make that shift, then you're actually in a position to be able to attract people, because when people join a team, let's take an agent as an example. When an agent joins a team, they join a team because they need leads, they need systems, they need accountability, they need support, they need coaching, they need mentorship. And they're not necessarily people who want to be out there running their own business, but they do want to know that you have your crap together and that you're able to go, show them how to be successful and that they can make money. So if you can do all of those things and you can show them how you do all of those things, then you can be successful. So the first thing is fixing up what's in here. Then the next thing is actually having a very strategic hiring process. Most people have the hiring process of, here, fog this up, welcome aboard, you're my new buyer's agent, go. And then they go, why aren't they succeeding? And it's like, because they don't know what they're doing and you hired poorly. And so we actually have a whole 10-step hiring strategy that we teach our clients. And we say, look, if you're going to hire correctly, you've got to slow the process down. I know you feel like you needed somebody yesterday, but you've got to plan for this process from start to finish, from the moment you start interviewing somebody to the moment you hire them. I don't care what position. Plan on 2 weeks. Just slow it down so you can make, because a bad hire can cost you tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars, and it can kill your reputation, because most agents have taken years to build up a very great reputation, and a bad agent on your team can kill it like that.
Oh, instantaneously. We hired this dipshit a while back. And I actually had to pay this fuck.
It's a technical term.
No, his technical term is fucktard.
Oh.
That's his technical term. But but
it was on his business card, right?
His name was, first name was fuck, last name was tard. Specialist in douchebag. But I had to pay this dildo baggins $800 to go away. I had to pay him to go away.
Wow.
That is because we hired too fast. We didn't know what we were doing. We were just flying by the seat of our pants. And Travis, what you're saying is so honest and true. Vet them out. I mean, let's be honest. Anyone who's in a relationship, for the most part, if it's a good one, you vetted the other human being out a little bit. You didn't be like, you're a hot piece of ass, I'll just date you.
Yeah. Crazy, but man, are you hot. Welcome aboard.
Crazy. No, pants.
Well, and here's the thing, Greg, and this is, look, I don't care how good your hiring process is, you're still going to occasionally make bad hires. We've been there, done that, got that t-shirt. So the question is, how many bad hires do you need to make before you improve your process? Every time. I mean, we hire great people, but every now and then crazy slips through the cracks. And when crazy slips through the cracks, we got to figure out what happened so it doesn't happen again. So, and now, by the way, the last crazy that slipped through the cracks could have been found through a criminal background check. So guess what we've now going to start implementing? Criminal background checks into our hiring process. And it's because everything else in our hiring process was great, and that person passed with flying colors, except there was a criminal problem that we didn't find out about till later. And we could have, had we run a criminal background check. So now we've just decided, okay, guess what?
The other easy, simple solution is to stop dealing that guy weed, Travis. I mean, come on, let's shake up. Come on now.
Matt, why would I want to stop that? It's good money.
Yeah, I know, that's true. It's lucrative. Just don't hire the users. Don't hire the users.
Don't hire your clients.
Hang on, I got to take a hit here.
Oh my God!
That's the takeaway I think from this episode, hopefully, is that the answer to everything. Yeah, to smoke your pen. Besides that, but the answer to everything, like anytime somebody says, "I want X," whatever that is, the easiest question any coach or they can ask themselves this question, which is, "What's the system for that?"
Yeah.
I want more leads. Great. What's the system for that? I want more clients. Great. What's the system? I want more people. I just need to plug in more people. Great. What's the system for that? If they would if they would force themselves to answer that question, it would solve a lot of their problems and prevent a lot of misery.
At the same time, just to kind of, add on top of that a little bit, Matt, is that I could because a lot of people, what they go is, well, just give me the system, give me the system, give me the system. I could hand you the system step by step, and you wouldn't do anything with it. And the reason most people wouldn't do anything with it is it still comes back to what's up here, is that you've got to want to actually step outside of your comfort zone and then execute that system. I could take any 7, 8, 10 figure agent, 9 figure agent, whatever it is, and I could hand you their system. And 99.9% of agents would still tomorrow be doing what they did yesterday.
So true. And that's why the thing is, if you are an agent that's just starting or getting into the business, don't talk to the mediocre agent. Oh, yeah. Don't they will suck you dry because and they're going to be fearful and they're going to walk on eggshells around you because they're afraid you're going to take the business. Go talk to the top producers and don't go for the big stuff. Do one thing at a time, step by step. Because Travis, I mean, if you handed a new agent, it's like handing a 3-year-old the cars to a Maserati. They ain't going to know what to do with that thing.
No.
They're like, is it a chew toy? Yeah. Or I mean, or if you taught them how to drive and everything else, and just like in this business, you take one step at a time with agents. I think that's where agents can really start building and developing a mentorship, getting to the point where they can hire you because they're at that level where they can handle your tutelage. I mean, it like you said in the beginning of our first show, every agent wants to make $100,000. Why? Because it's a nice number. Have you ever made 100,000? Nope. But I sure like it.
Yeah. It's like, why do you want to make 100,000? It just sounds like a sexy number and it's going to fix all my problems. No, it's not. It's because it's like me. And I think I may have said this in the last show is that, if somebody comes up to me and says, I want to make $1 million, I want to make $500,000. My first question is, have you ever made that amount of money before? And if they say no, my very next thing is you're not ready for $1 million problems, because if you're not ready for a $500,000 problem, $600, $700 million, $2 million problems, if you're not already making that amount of money, because you have to become somebody different before you can make something different. And most people want to make something so that they can become something, but it's completely opposite. You become the type of person that can support $1 million problems, then you can have $1 million business. You become somebody that can support $500,000 problems, then you can have a $500,000 business, not before.
Right, 100%. I mean, that's a lot of times people want something before they can actually afford to be there, both mentally, emotionally, financially, because they see they're just looking 10,000 yards down the road. They're not looking at the next step. But okay, if I want to, like you said, you have to become that person. You can't just become. You can't go for that goal, because if we dropped $10 million in anyone's bank account, they would freak out.
Yeah.
And they'd be like, oh my God, Maseratis for everybody. But I mean, if you slowly built it up and like in business wise, and you were able to handle it responsibly, then you'd be able to reinvest it, protect it, and everything else. It's the same thing with your business. You can't handle all these clients. It sounds like great I got 45 leads this month. Well, we'll use your math since we're both suck at it. I will just say 50, and then next month another 50. Now you have 100. Next month you have 150. Next month 200 leads. That's in 3-4 months. I mean, you can't follow up with that. What if you got 3 leads every month that were solid, they're going to close, and you can build your systems and come talk to you or anything else? That's the way you grow a business.
Well, and you get and I am a systems guy, but I mean, to Travis's point about becoming something different. This is the trick of trying to help people and coach people, is they still have to go through the process of building up the stamina and becoming someone else in the process. Because you're right. I mean, it's if you study, there's a great book called Corporate Life Cycles where he goes through the different stages of what a company is like and what their problems are at each stage. And it's true. Like it's every stage of a company or business or whatever it is has different problems at different stages, and you don't get to the next set of problems until you figure out a way to solve the problems you have now. And once you have once you solve the problems you have now, you have the awesome privilege of stepping into a different set of problems, which is it's something that you can look forward to, and it's not a negative. It is the way business is you're going to have problems at each step of the way. And the point of this book, Corporate Life Cycles, is that look, there are problems that they are just part and parcel of that stage of the business. There's nothing wrong with them unless they carry over and they are pathological, because you carry them with you into a different stage of the business. So an example being the person that spends as much as they make. Yeah. That does not work if you want to jump from a rainmaker agent to a team leader, because everyone I've talked to that's made that jump has said, either my income took a hit or I expected my income to take a hit, and very luckily it didn't, because I brought in the right agents at the right time. So there's different stages to go through where if you don't have those right expectations going in, if you carry those problems over with you, they will sabotage your business at the next level, even if they didn't sabotage your business earlier. So it's really super important to understand some of those things about different stages of the business. And we lost Travis for a second, but hopefully we'll get him back. But so first of all, we're at the tail end here. So I want to encourage everybody, just do a couple things for us. Go check out TravisRobertson.com. He's got a lot of amazing resources and stuff there. I mean, we've had a blast talking to him on this episode, on the last episode that we did together, because he has a really deep understanding of what it takes to get a real estate business to scale. And if you care about making, 7 figures in the business, the only way to get that is to scale. I mean, unless you're selling, multi-million dollar luxury real estate and you can do a few deals a year and that's your $1 million commission, most of us are not in that position, and we need a lot of deals and a lot of agents in order to get to that 7-figure level. And the only way to do that is with systems and by doing things that are outside of our comfort zone. We're all in that same position of getting outside our comfort zone. So go to TravisRobertson.com, check him out. Go to our website, McDanielRealEstateSystems.com. Check out the stuff that we've got there. We've got free scripts. So if you're in the stage where you're mastering your sales skills, that's the download for you. It's absolutely free. Greg's free scripts. And then Farm Like Greg is the video training course we developed for farming. So if you're looking to jump to the next level in prospecting where you have a consistent lead flow out of a specific demographic or geographic area, that is the course for you. That's a $99 course. It's got like 8.5 hours of unbelievably, ridiculously solid content. We can't even do podcasts like this anymore because they're just too dense, too heavy. And so that's the video training course. But I think that might be all that we have time for today. We want to thank Travis Robertson for being on the show and apologize for the tech issues. I know we're experimenting with this new platform, and hopefully you guys are enjoying it. It's a lot of fun for us to see the interaction, the comments and stuff that are scrolling by when you guys are watching this on Facebook Live, on all the different groups and Facebook pages and profiles that you can view this on. If you see us live, remember you can actually share it onto your personal profile or onto a page that you manage or group that you have access to. So if you're watching us and you want to share the show with other people, that is an amazing way to do it, is to share this live Facebook feed out into other places. Greg, do you have anything to say?
Of course I have something to say, Matt. This is what I do, is I talk. Hey guys, so I'm gonna jump back over to Facebook here really quickly. I've had a ton of awesome comments. You guys remember, use the little blue link at the top up there. You guys can come onto the Smile Time and chat with us and come on live with us on video if you'd like to, but I'm gonna do a couple of quick shout outs here. Let's see here. Susan, Diana, Neely, Nathaniel, Stephanie, Caitlin, Bradley, Jason, Carl, Carol, Ismail, Frank, Nate, Sue, Jason, Robert Ring, what up, player? Wayne, Jeff, Rizzo, D, Renzo, whatever. I'm close. Let's say Troy. Oh, I haven't got any more here. Richard, Jeremy, Nor, Susan, Dolphini, and then, of course, Jason. Jason Bates, what up, dude? Hey, guys, thanks so much for all your comments and everything else. I really appreciate it. Love chatting back and forth with you guys. McDaniel Challenge, guys. I am in the last week of April. So if you guys want to take a part of the McDaniel Challenge, please do so. Best number for me, 925-915-1978 is my cell. Again, 925-915-1978. Or just Facebook message me, guys. Follow me on Facebook. I ran out of friend spaces, unfortunately, but I do want to hear from you. I do want to do calls and talks with you. I had an incredible opportunity the other day. I had a message from a young lady, and she hit me up, and she was just, she was in between a rock and a hard place. So Cynthia, what up, player? Great talking with you today. I see amazing things for you. Go do what we talked about in our spontaneous emergency call today, and I see great things for you. But I love you guys. I want to see you guys succeed more than you guys know. That's why Matt and I do this show. Even when we're traveling, as you can tell, we are literally throwing things together. Yeah, welcome to our beautiful hotel room. That's not awkward.
Hey, there are 2 bets, just to clarify. There's a second bet there.
But you guys, we want to see you succeed. So reach out to me, reach out to Matt, friend Matt. Hit him up on a private Facebook messages. He loves late night messages. I hate you, Greg.
But seriously, yes, do friend request me and message me on Facebook. I'm easy to find. It's facebook.com/pursuing results. If you guys have any questions about marketing or team building, I have the awesome privilege to interview and talk to a lot of top team leaders around the country, both on this show and on my other shows, and more than willing to help share whatever I can to help you guys out. So don't hesitate. Friend request me, shoot me a message on Facebook. That's the best way to reach me.
All right, guys. Until next time, we love you. We care about you. We're going to be doing as many lives as we can at the CAR show. So if you guys see us pop up, interact with us, and of course, tell a friend. Help us grow the footprint of this thing. And yeah, we're going to come back and we're going to do this again. And we're going to have a whole hell of a lot of a good time. So Matt, I think we're good on closing out, right?
We're good.
All right, guys. Hey, we love you. Have an incredible day. Later.